What is up, everybody? This is Zacharias here with my Let's Play of Avernum for Greed and Glory. Now, this is another great CRPG by Spider Software. I'm a huge fan of Spider Software games. Feel free to check out my Let's Plays of the Avernum trilogy, as well as the remastered Avernum trilogy on my channel. I definitely want to cover more of Spider Software in the future. And I also have the remastered Geneforge games on my channel as well. So definitely check all those out. But yeah, I am very excited to get into Avernum 4 Greed and Glory. Has been one of my most anticipated games, so I can't wait to get right into it here. And I did actually attempt this before, of course, as a Let's Play, but someone pointed out to me some technical difficulties I was having, so I had to address those. So yeah, I am not proud of that, especially since I was like 4 parts in it already, but that was unfortunate. But hey, at least I didn't get like too far into the story, and there's like plenty in the game anyway, to where you don't have to worry too much about being spoiled too much. Thankfully, I wasn't like spoiled anything too significant. But yeah, anyway, with that in mind, we're gonna redo the Let's Play, of course. Got those technical issues taken care of. And we're going to get right into it with a new game here. Now, when I played the demo of this, I experimented with quite a few parties and different, like, builds and stuff like that. But I think for my Let's Play here, I'm going to stick with a custom build for each of my characters. You can go with the various, like, character types, like Soldier, Berserker, Priest, Sorcerer, Rogue, Archer, Rebel, Hedge Wizard, or Shaman, or you can go with custom like I'm going to do. And I debated on whether or not I wanted to on how exactly I would build, because I tried both one frontline fighter and an archer, or just 2 frontline fighters. And I think, even though I have done archers in the past, I think for my Let's Play here, I am going to go with 2 frontline fighters, so one's not taking the brunt of the damage all the time. So yeah, this is going to be my party here. We have Dante, Nova, Azrael, and Sabrina. Now, if you wanted, you could have a Nephil or a Slith in your party. And you see the bonuses of the Nephil or the Slith there. And one change that I noticed that Jeff added was how Nephilim and Slitherikai can only wear leather armor. So that's a pretty interesting change. I am going to stick with an all-human group for my party. But I wonder what kind of builds you would have to do if you were going to run a Nephilim or Slitherikai. Personally, I just prefer all humans, but if you want to experiment with those, you can. And there is like a few like different dialogue instances if you do have one of them in your party. But I'm going to stick with this group. Dante, Nova, Azrael, and Sabrina. They're all going to be customs. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, for my background, when I attempted both the demo and my Let's Play, I did go with a soldier. Born in Avernum. Avernum is your homeland and is always under threat. You have sworn to fight and defend it. Your orders have sent you to the remote caverns. Far from luxury or opportunities for advancement, perhaps you can prove yourself. Cave lore checks are slightly easier for you. Born in Avernum is a researcher. Avernum is full of mysteries and wonders, strange biology, and powerful magic. Your passionate desire to unearth secrets drives you to the deepest caves, where all the new stuff is. Arcane lore checks are slightly easier for you. Misfit, born on the surface. Life on the surface was too controlling for you. You have always been a misfit, finding comfort in mischief and petty crime. You fled to the underworld and searched freedom. Perhaps here, at the edge of civilization, you can rule your own little nation or gang. Tool use checks are slightly easier for you. Born on the surface, a safe, boring life on the surface is not for you. You have chosen to journey to the underworld in the hope of winning fame and fortune. At last, you are here on the frontier, where unclaimed treasures await. Like I said, when I played both the demo and my original Let's Play, I did go with the Soldier of Avernum, but now that I'm restarting, I do kind of want to see what it's like to have a background where you're born on the surface instead. Misfit is pretty tempting, but I think for me, I'm actually going to go with Fortune Seeker. I don't care for the luck mechanic, and I have never really trained it, but I'm more interested in how it affects the background anyway, or how the background affects your story. Now, I heard that no matter which of the backgrounds you pick, you can still go through the main story just fine anyway. But if you achieve like certain goals, then you will get a better ending depending on what your background is. So, yeah, for me, I'm going to actually go with Fortune Seeker here. Even though I don't care for the luck mechanic, I'm more interested in the background. So, yeah, let's go with Fortune Seeker. And like with all my walkthroughs, I play on normal difficulty. Avernum is a place. It is a nation that exists far underground. Avernites live in an endless network of caverns and tunnels, forests of giant fungi, and deep black lakes, lit by glowing lichen and warmed by steam vents. Avernum is inhabited by proud people, determined to make their fortune and live free. The surface of the world is ruled by the mighty Empire. Avernum began as a prison colony. The Empire teleported misfits and petty criminals into the darkness, a life sentence that usually ended with death in the darkness. The Avernites fought, survived, and won their freedom. Now they live their lives in the depths they share with the mysterious, powerful Vonatai of the deepest caves. The Empire, ruled by the kind Empress Prozac, now tolerates Avernum, travelers who move freely between the surface and the depths. Avernum is now a land of fortune seekers. Miners, explorers, and sages come to explore the tunnels looking for gems, treasures, and lost magic. Great rewards await the bold and eccentric who have fled Avernum's tunnels. There is also great risk. Monsters and bandits roam the remote passages, looking for settlers to ambush and rob, or worse. You're one of these brave souls. You came here from the surface looking for a share of the power and wealth the Empire guards so jealously. You have come to Fort Monastery, one of the Avernum's smallest and most remote outposts. These caves are dotted with abandoned mines and farms, constantly harried by tribes of goblins. You came here to begin your quest, ready to follow your dreams. Alas, when you got to Fort Monastery, all visitors got bad news. Word has come from King Saurus of Avernum, far away in the civilized caves. The sovereign cease has been declared. All exploration of new caves must stop. All explorers are stuck in Fort Monastery, gambling, drinking, complaining, waiting. You have been quietly rotting in the quarters they have found for you in the basement, waiting for your glorious life to begin. Oh well, time to go upstairs and see if Captain Matos has some productive work for you today. So, whew. Yeah, when I first tried the Let's Play, I know how fast the initial opening dialogue was, so I knew how to speed through that fast. Maybe Jeff will patch it up to where, you know, that moves a little bit slower for people to read out loud, but as you can see, I did my best there. Okay, now anyway, for my build, for my first fighter, Dante here, eventually we're going to have to work towards these skills down here, but they require certain prerequisites like dexterity and quick action for that one, defense, strength, melee, and pull weapons, or pull weapons, not and. And then you have other skills like tool use, cave lore, first aid, luck. Now, pretty interesting about cave lore and first aid. You can pretty much train both of these on everyone, and the more of it in your party, the better you'll get out of it. But for tool use, Jeff went ahead and went back to the previous version of tool use in these games. Whereas in the remastered Avernum trilogy, you could spread out tool use amongst your party as a whole, which I honestly prefer, if I'm being honest. He did go back to the version where only one person needs to get it. So yeah, your character with the highest tool use skill will make the attempt, and the skill of other characters do not help. So once again, you only need to put this on one character, which is a change I guess he reverted back to. I would have preferred if you could, you know, put this on everybody, but it is what it is. And not that big of a deal. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to make Dante a fighter. We're going to give him melee weapons and bows, hardiness, defense, and quick action. And we're going to give him cave lore and first aid. We're not going to train luck, but it is the bonus we get from Fortune Seeker, so. Go I still have 1 point left, actually. I probably could. I'm not going to spend that on our Arcane Lord. Let's just go ahead and do that. 3 hardiness, 3 defense, 2 quick action. Very handy. Alright, so Fortune Seeker by default is always going to be there. But I think for my trait, I'm going to improve Strength. And check out the abilities here. Of course, you get told what mage spells there are. The highest mage spell skill you need is 19, so we're going to have to eventually get to that point. Same with pre-spells. But for battle disciplines, this is a pretty interesting change, I think. Compared to... Because, again, you could combine, like, your weapon skills and unlock the battle disciplines that way. But for this one... But for this one, your highest weapon skill, melee, pole, bow, thrown, needs to be at least 5 to use this. You have 4. So you only need to train 1 weapon skill up to be able to unlock all these. And to get the highest one, it needs to be at least 14. We can definitely eventually get to that point, though. I do find it interesting that it's just 1 skill you need to train rather than combining skills, but it is what it is. But I still have 3 bows for Dante anyway, so he has a backup skill, at least. We're not going to train it, but we do want to keep that up at, 3, so he has a backup at least. But our main focus, of course, is going to be melee weapons. And like I said, his trait is going to be improved strength. Okay, so for Nova, pretty much the same thing. When I tried this initially, I did make her an archer. But I think I'm going to go ahead and make her a pole weapons user. She's not going to have one right away, but I know exactly where to get one, so we have that. I'm going to make her my designated lockpicker, so I'm going to raise her tool use up to 4. And for the rest of my traits, put a couple in the hardiness. I do want some Cave Lore and First Aid too, of course. And yeah, let's go ahead and put the last point into quick action. So yeah, she is going to be my designated lockpicker. So, and for her traits, I'm going to improve the strength for now. Eventually, we're going to give her nimble fingers, so she can have a boost there. Alright, for Azrael, we're going to only give him 1 into thrown missiles, so he has a backup skill. But of course, our main focus is going to be on pre-spells. Let's give him more first aid, and we're going to improve his intelligence. Now, it's interesting because priests can wear armor, but mages cannot, so keep that in mind. Obviously, you don't want to, like, overstack your priest with, like, armor or anything, unless it's, like, a warrior hybrid and stuff like that. Obviously, most of our armor is going to go to our 2 main fighters here, but yeah, priests can still wear armor to an extent, but obviously strength is not going to be focused for my priest at all. Alright, for my sorceress here, going to do that. We're going to give her 1 in there, so she has a backup skill. And of course, we're going to give her mage spells. Intelligence. Alright, let me check this one more time, make sure I got it built right. It looks about right to me. Alright, like I said, I did initially have her as an archer, but I'm going to go with pole weapons for her. And like I said, she's going to be my designated lockpicker. And yeah, pre-spells for him. And mage spells for her. And like I said, priests can wear armor, but mages cannot. But There actually is a trait, though, you can get where it's called sword mage, where then you can put like a little bit of armor on your mages. I prefer to go without, but if you want to experiment with that, you can. But with that in mind, let's just go ahead and get with the main story here, so we're not spending too much time on, just building our characters. To leave your quarters, you will need to open the door to the east. North is to the upper right, and east is to the lower right. Select the door to open it. To interact with an object, select it. Select boxes to search them, levers to pull them, and so on. Alright, let me actually go ahead and do this real quick. You step out of your claustrophobic, mildewy quarters and into a cramped storeroom. This was the basement of the monastery that occupied this cave before the fort was built. You didn't expect nice lodgings at this stage in your quest. The wealth will come later. This pantry has been a safe place to stow your weapons and armor while you sleep. Before you go, you should arm yourself. Okay, so interesting. So we do get different dialogue if we have one of the surface backgrounds instead of one of the Avernum backgrounds. So that's cool. Alright, so let's go ahead and equip weapons on each of our characters here. Because the tutorial says so. Now currently, this is something I didn't notice until later, but currently my sorceress does have armor on her that does encumber mages. So eventually I'm going to have to get like a robe for her and put it on her instead, but it's not that big of a deal right now anyway. Now I did say we could put armor on our priest, but yeah, let's go ahead and put the shield on him. I plan to make Dante a dual wielder. The blade in your hand makes you feel much better. Avernum is a poor land. Like most weapons down here, it is dented and dull. However, it will do to fend off an angry lizard or hungry slime. You should get armor and shield from the other table. Also, there is a helmet in the box to the east. Select the box to open it. When you're ready to continue, go through the door to the south. Okay, now, I heard that light is actually good in this game, so of course we're going to get some light sources. You hear stone crumbling and support beams cracking. As you leap backwards, the passage to the south caves in. A cloud of dust blinds you. When your vision clears, figures emerge from the cloud. Invaders! A goblin and 2 trained war rats manage to burrow into the basement. Vicious creatures constantly try to sneak into Fort Monastery, causing all sorts of trouble. However, this is the first time that raiders have extended their tunnels under the walls. When a foe attacks you, you enter combat mode automatically. Each of your characters will get a turn, which can be spent moving around, attacking, casting a spell, or so on. To attack a foe, select the spot it is standing in. Alright, warriors can use battle disciplines to defeat their foes. Press this button and select the discipline. Using disciplines fatigues you, keeping you from using another for a few turns. Okay, so we're going to use Brutal Blow here, and that instantly killed him. Nova is not going to do much damage here because she doesn't have a pole weapon yet, but we'll get her one. Brutal Blow. This is Brutal Blow. That was one I just used. Your next melee attack is aggressive. It does extra damage and knocks the target off balance, making its attacks weaker. Flawless Shot. Your next missile attack is carefully aimed. It does extra damage and is always a critical hit. Okay, that would be very handy if we had an archer, but we don't. Because I decided to go with 2 fighters for this rebooted Let's Play. You can use magic to efficiently destroy your foes. Why not try it? Press this button to cast a mage spell and try using Bolt of Fire. You have a wounded character. Now is a good time to try a healing spell. Press this button to cast Priest Spell and try using Minor Heal. So yeah, this right here is just basically giving you a tutorial of how the game is played pretty much. This huge rat's morale is broken. And even though Nova can't do much damage right now, she did enough to kill it. You have just won a battle. Sadly, there are many more to come. You rest for a minute to recover from the fight. In the future, when you are tired and damaged from fights, return to a friendly town or fort. You will be healed when you step inside. You will also heal damage with healing potions and magical spells. When you are done with combat, exit combat mode by pressing the button with the crossed swords to the bottom left. The gate head is closed. You use the wheel here to seal yourself in the futile hope that the bars would keep thieving goblins out. Alas, the local goblin tribe has sufficiently extended its tunnels to remove all security. Their clan will be a real danger even if the gate remains closed. For now, you can reopen the gate by turning the wheel to the south. Select the wheel to turn it. You see someone in the shadows ahead. You prepare to defend yourself, afraid that more goblins have burrowed in. Then you see that it is a human. It is Maxine, one of the Fort Monastery's precious stonemasons. She smiles nervously when she recognizes you. She wants to know what just happened. To speak with her, select her. Oh, I don't want to do that yet. Let's go ahead and talk to Maxine. Maxine steps out of the shadows, her hammer resting on her shoulder. She is a tall, hardy woman with the pale, translucent skin of the Avernum born. She is a stonemason, and she comes down here to supervise the quarter's expansion often. She is normally cheery and good conversation, but the sounds of your fight echoed upstairs. What was going on? I heard clanging, snarling, a scream or two. I didn't think you Avernites had so many pests. Maxine laughs. You will learn. Nothing but pests down here. There's countless miles of tunnels, and cave quakes open more all the time. We will never be able to clear them all. Still, we do have to be cautious. I can't work by myself down here when a gob might come through the wall at any moment. I'd go back upstairs. There may still be something down here. She doesn't wait to be told twice. I'll leave you to your hunting then. I wish Captain Matos could find someone to wipe those gobs out. Then I can get proper excavating done and not be stuck helping in the kitchen. She turns to go back upstairs quickly. Alright. Now... Okay. I do know that bars of iron are quest items, so I'm going to grab those. I'm also going to take this. Like I said, I hear light is actually more useful in this game. I've never really used it in past Spiderweb software playthroughs, but I hear it's actually better here. These are the stairs up to the main floor of the fort. You should probably go upstairs, find Captain Matos, and see if there is any news. You are getting more sick of this basement every day you are trapped here. Walk onto the stairs and climb them. You leave the dank basement and enter the main barracks for Fort Monastery. The air is fresher up here, and the buildings are slightly more spacious. You have been sleeping in the depths for weeks, waiting for permission to explore. It's always a relief to emerge into the fort. You are tempted to wander around the fort and speak with people. Maybe you can learn some rumors and find productive work. Captain Matos is at his desk. He is your only hope for getting permission to leave. He is distracted, though. You can hear a disturbance outside. People are shouting. When exploring, try holding down the tab key. This identifies all nearby characters. Okay, so there's Captain Matos right there. Let's go out here. Now that you have made some progress, you should save the game. Saving the game creates a snapshot of your progress. Later, you can load the save game and continue where you left off. To make and load save games, press the settings button to the upper right. You can use Command S and Command O to save and load. Press F3 to make a quick save file and F4 to load it. Save often. You never know when you might get killed. Finally, the game saves for you automatically every few minutes. If you die, you can always load the autosave game. Okay, so let's save it here. You approach the gathering in the main training ground. The castle crier is there ready to give the latest word from the castle. He's been doing this every few days since you arrived. He's a young, nervous man from the Great Cave, native of Avernite. Nobody knows how he gets his information. It's a matter of great speculation during the long, boring, quiet hours. He never answers questions. He clears his throat and unrolls the scroll. The unruly crowd instantly quiets. The young crier reads from the scroll. Attention! All brave explorers of remote Avernum. King Star sends his regards and well wishes. The standard beginning. The sovereign siege must continue. A quiet groan from the crowd. The negotiations with the Vonnetai must continue. Once this is done and the depths of Avernum can settle or establish, your explorations may begin. How long will all this take? The castle crier pretends to not hear you. A few miners ask the same question and are ignored with similar determination. What is a Vonnetai? He whispers, things who live in the deepest caves. I've never seen one. Mighty wizards, I hear, hate the Empire. They're green. There is a new proclamation. Due to recent disturbances and unexpected violence, King Starus requests that all stay off the roads. Only travel if absolutely necessary until the source of the disruptions is found. You admire the castle crier's quiet composure as he gives his alarming news. Disturbances? Violence? What is happening? Several other members of the crowd amplify your question. There is a lot of shouting. For the first time, the crier responds, "Folks, I don't know. I've been stuck out here for weeks, same as you. I have more to say. Let me finish." Have you heard anything about this? Rumors, but who listens to rumors? Shh. The castle promises to let you know when your exploration can resume. Until then, only those with a letter of passage can travel. He rolls up the scroll. That is all I have to say. All I know. Settle in. This fort is boring, but at least it's safe. He turns to leave. I have a question. So does everyone else. There is a lot of shouting. The castle crier floats through the crowd of safety, ignoring all queries. Bored, angry, frustrated, as usual, but it is impossible to ignore the hints of fresh fear on their faces. You turn and go as the crowd finally disperses. You look back at the door to the captain's office from which you emerged. Captain Matos is standing in the doorway. He motions with his hand for you to join him, then he returns to his office. Captain Matos rises from his desk to greet you. He is deathly pale. Like most Avernites, he looks much older than he is. Running Fort Monastery has aged him even more. Life is tough in Avernum, even when you aren't out on the frontier. You note that his armor and weapon are old and dented from many minor battles, and some major ones. On the surface, the Empire would have replaced his equipment long ago. Here in the Underworld, you have to make do with what you have. "Ah, you're finally up," he growls. "Good. You've had enough time to rest and get settled in. Weeks of it. So, what did the crier say?" The castle crier said that the sovereign feast will continue. "So you're all still stuck here, eating Avernum's food, brawling, complaining. But that's not all, is it?" Everyone sounded angrier than usual. He said something about a signing at the castle. "Yes, the much-promised peace between us and the Vonatai. We're splitting the Underworld with them. Royal business. Nothing we can affect." He said there had been violent disruptions. Captain Matos nods. "There have. Nothing I can talk about. Not yet. I can only tell those I trust. Perhaps my trust can be earned. Nothing else of interest." "Alright, how do the miners and hopeful explorers take the latest bad news?" "Angry, as usual." As long as they don't try to leave. They are safe here, not that they appreciate it. I was listening to the crier, too. Things are happening, and Avernum has not given me clear instructions. I need to act. You have been bothering me for work. At last, I have some for you. Tell me about Fort Monastery. It's one of the newer forts in Avernum. King Starus only sent warriors to secure this gallery a few years ago. The cavern we are in is a lot smaller than what Fort Draco or the castle have. All ours now, since peace with the Empire. How do you feel about the Empire? The land you are from, you mean? You killed a lot of us. That was a dark time. However, your queen now, Empress Prozac, she seems capable of justice. It's only for her that we allow your kind to come to our lands. Why is it called Fort Monastery? There used to be a monastery out here, a bunch of crazy monks, banished by the Empire for their general disobedience. They were skilled healers, but reclusive. They tried to live out here on their own. Didn't work out well. The giants got them in the end. This fort is built on the ruins of their home. How long have you been here? I've been in charge here since Fort Monastery was formed. I wanted my whole life to fight for Avernum. Pity it wasn't in a more pleasant place. How long have you lived in Avernum? All my life. Some come down here from the surface to seek their fortune, but most Avernites were born down here. I was born not too long after the Second Slith War. In fact, I'm third generation. The Empire threw my grandfather down here originally, for one crime or another. Why did the Empire banish your grandfather to Avernum? Funny thing, but I have no idea. He never said. Wasn't considered polite to ask. Some of those old codgers were eager to say why they got banished. What was a badge of pride? Grandpa always kept quiet. Captain Matos paces around the barracks looking for jobs that need doing. Whenever he hears an odd sound, and odd sounds are constant in the Underworld, he puts his hand on his weapon. What is it? Something else you want? How are conditions in the fort? Overcrowded, he laughs. When I asked to be posted here, I expected something different. Quiet on the frontier with the occasional raid for variety. Now look outside. Explorers, adventurers, treasure hunters, all wanting to be fed, all wanting to explore, all angry. Any trouble feeding them? That, at least, is not a problem. Mushrooms and lizards grow well in these caves. We will be able to feed many more travelers, which is good because they keep coming. Soon this will not be a frontier fort anymore. It will be a major refuge for brave souls on the way to the deep caves. Where do they want to explore? There are many tunnels to the northwest. Many rivers go from the Northern Isles region into unexplored lands. Scouts and sages say those tunnels are deep. Who knows what explorers and miners will find? And every one of those travelers will stop here on the way. Why did they come here? Captain Matos shrugs. So many reasons. Why did you come here? What about the surface drove you to this darkness? I've heard a lot of stories. Every time I think I've heard it all, someone surprises me. And what do you think of all these outsiders coming to Avernum? He is silent for a moment. From outside you hear the sounds. Shouting, brawling, the clang of the blacksmith. It's crowded. For now. Maybe it won't be forever. I'm a soldier. I just follow orders. I don't have opinions until I'm ordered to have them. What do you need me to do? Well, the first step is to get you outfitted. We aren't sent quality gear out here, but we'll spare a little of what we do have for you. Don't misuse it. There are storage caves at the west end of the fort. There's a bow in one and a potion in the other. Collect them. When you're outfitted, I'll get you started on the next step. Did you know that goblins burrowed into the basement? Maxine told me. That's part of why I am acting now. The equipment is free? Don't worry, we'll extract their value in labor. Get going, Western Storage Caves. Okay, but first, let me go ahead and head over to the blacksmith real quick. So I can at least get a pole weapon for Nova, since we're not going to get it in this opening section. This, like, tutorial-esque part of it now. You drop in to visit Dottie, the fort's blacksmith. In Avernum, where new equipment is hard to come by, a skilled smith to repair broken gear is an absolute necessity. He is an unusual-looking man. Avernites tend to be small and thin, but Dottie is a human slab. Time at the forge has given his face a bit of color. He recognizes you and gives a little wave. Hello there. Hope you aren't here for repairs. Already got a ton to do. Do you have any weapons and armor for sale? You have been given all the weaponry you are entitled to. If you want more, you'll have to pay for it. Alas, Dottie's supplies are pretty meager at the moment. Well, that's fine by me. Again, we just need a spear right now. Do you buy gear? No, I don't. You should talk to Apollo about that. However, I am always short on metal. Everyone wants tools. The troops always need repairs. Raw iron. I'd pay well for any you could bring to me. Is it that difficult to get iron? Not as bad as it was in years past. We get a lot shipped from mines all over Avernum. Metal is one thing we can provide for ourselves. It's still in short supply on the frontier, though. You think we have plenty of metal everywhere, but it hasn't worked out that way. Dottie, glad to take a break, continues to speak with you. Everyone trapped here knows everyone now. What else do you need, friend? I have some iron for you. Dottie collects the bars and pays you 12 coins for each one. It's a pretty good price. Thanks, this will keep me afloat for a little while longer. You have a lot of work to do? Yep, every hour of every day, it seems. Avernites aren't rich people, though it's not as bad as it used to be. What sort of trade do we have? Well, some people in Avernum get rich. Surface worlders, God, I can barely talk. Worlders like you come down to take our gems. Precious metal, and especially crystals. Magic quality crystals. Then they get wealthy and leave for the surface, where they stay down here and trade the stuff to the Empire for the supplies we need to stay alive. How did it used to be? Avernum was a prison colony, of course. We only had what scraps they sent down to us for what we foraged. Back then, it was as much as your life was worth to find a chunk of rusty iron to form into a dagger. Our warriors is just starting out use stone weapons, if you can imagine that. I don't need anything. See you tomorrow then? Thanks for the visit. Stay in the light. There is a stone obelisk in this alcove at the back of the fort. It is carved with rows of strange symbols. The carvings are clean and recent, and no lichen grows on the stone. This obelisk hasn't been here long. There is a strange electric feeling in the air. Your hair stands on end. There is powerful, unidentified magic here. Small wonder then that the soldiers are staying a safe distance away. It looks like an interesting artifact. You wonder what it's for. You touch the obelisk. A painful shock runs up your arm. You pull your hand away. Something just happened, but you don't know what. Alright, let's go ahead and equip this crude spear on her, since she's very much experienced with pole weapons. Obviously, you can't dual wield or have a shield if you use pole weapons, so keep that in mind. But we are going to make him our dual wielder, rather than give him a shield. You are at the entrance to one of the storerooms at the west edge of Fort Monastery. There are two. Captain Matos has made it clear that any adventurers who borrow supplies from the stores will be kicked out of the fort and left to the mercies of the goblins. Fortunately, he said that you are allowed to poke around inside. If you explore the storerooms, you can find some useful supplies. You can also learn more about the source items in Avernum 4 and how to use them. Okay, so as far as dual wielding goes, there is no, like, dual wielding skill to build up, unlike in the remaster trilogy. But there are traits later that can help you out with that. And obviously I'm going to build up strength and stuff like that, so to help with that. Of course, since Nova is my designated lockpicker, we are going to give her the lockpicks. A bow and a few javelins have been left on the table here. Weapons that strike from a distance are very useful, even in the winding tunnels of Avernum. Equip missiles like bows and javelins, like you equip melee weapons. You use up javelins when you fling them. However, you don't need to worry about finding arrows for bows. Use the melee missile weapons button to the lower left toggle between melee and ranged weapons. Okay, I'm going to get the lights. I'm going to get the bow and equip it on him. And of course, I'm going to get the javelins. But I am going to split it with my sorceress, since she also has a little skill in that too. And to split up stuff, press the shift key. That's how I was able to split the javelins between them. Alright, here's another storeroom. Two carefully labeled healing potions and a magic scroll have been left back here, ready to be quickly grabbed when Fort Monastery is attacked. Since you bravely slew a goblin in defense of the fort, you feel entitled to a reward. Using a healing potion will restore some of your health. Using a spell scroll enables you to direct a spell against your foes. Press the use item button to pick an item to use. Items you use a lot can be put in quick use item slots. To do this, open your inventory and drop items on the quick use slots. You can use them easily by pressing the quick use button on the main screen. Although one of my tendencies I'm guilty of in this game is not really taking advantage of like the quick use stuff. I'm just like so used to just selecting the buttons here and going from there, but you can definitely play this how you want. You don't have to be like me at all. Oh, another crude longsword. Actually, let's Alright, so now he is dual wielding two crude longswords. Of course, that's going to be a penalty, but take that chance. I found the equipment you left for me. Good. Now I can really put you to work. When you're ready to get started, let me know. What is that odd obelisk to the northwest? He clears his throat. Nothing. Nothing that concerns you. Just be about your business and stay away from there. I don't even go there. Whatever the Tower of Magi put there, I don't think it's safe. Alright, can I get any more supplies or equipment? Captain Matos makes a rude snorting noise. Oh, of course. We're dripping in supplies out here. King Staros is bending over backwards to give us anything we want. You suspect that he is being sarcastic. We will give you some more equipment if you earn it. But for now, what you have is what you get. What is my mission? I need something done about the goblins to the south. They've always been a nuisance and the problem is getting worse. They keep sneaking into the fort and I don't know how. They aren't getting in through the front gate and they aren't dropping down from the ceiling above the fort. Find out how they are getting in and let me know. Their behavior is getting suspicious. Do you have any idea how they're getting in? Well, if I did, I wouldn't need you, would I? Get searching. Some of them were digging. Try the basement. You can also ask around the fort. Someone might have seen something. What about them is suspicious? They've been more quiet. They're still trying to get in, but far less than before. They're still out there, and goblins aren't known for restraint and careful planning. It's time to investigate seriously. It will be done. I'm counting on it. Good luck. Okay, so let's go ahead and lock difficulty 6, tool use skill 4, chance of skip. That's 50-50. I don't want to use up my one lockpick like right now. Okay. Alright, so we will definitely continue this in the next part of the Let's Play. I'm going to go ahead and call it for here, but in the next part we are going to continue to explore around the fort and get some more information, and then we'll take on some goblins. So yeah, I'm just going to call it for this part of Let's Play, and I'll see you all in the next.